Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2005 Dodge Ram 1500 SLT. Up front is a 4.7-liter V8, and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Dodge Ram for two reasons. First of all, I grew up driving a second-gen Dodge Ram. That was my first car that my parents let me drive. That was my entry into the automotive world. And so I've always had a soft spot for Dodge Rams. But the second reason is that I've actually never driven a third generation of the Ram. This is the third gen, which lasted from 2002 all the way up until 2009. So when we talk about the 2000s, this is what we're talking about. But if you would like to share your vehicle with me, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you, and you would get a video of your vehicle, just like the one you're watching now of this Ram 1500. Let's get back to that 4.7-liter V8 under the hood. Well, this particular engine makes 235 horsepower, and it's nothing remarkable. I have never been in a conversation where the 4.7-liter V8 has ever come up. However, it was pretty typical of Dodge to offer two different V8s in their trucks. The previous generation, second generation Ram was offered with a 5.9 Magnum V8 or the 5.2-liter Magnum V8. However, there were other engines offered in this third gen chassis. There's the almighty 5.7-liter Hemi, which made 345 horsepower, over 100 horsepower more than this, but there was also a smaller 3.7-liter V6 that was available on more basic trucks. Then, of course, you have your diesel options. These were later offered with Cummins diesels. And then, of course, the almighty SRT10, which came with a 8.3-liter V10 out of the Dodge Viper. If anyone has one of those, I would love to review it. Speaking of which, this is a total coincidence. I did not plan this. If anyone has this generation of Dodge Dakota, I would really like to review one. I tried to review one once, the video didn't come out great. This was years and years and years ago, and so I've never been able to review one since. So if you have a second gen Dakota or first gen, actually, you know what? I've never done any Dakota. So if you have any generation of Dakota, please let me know. That would be great to do. Let's just give it a little bit here. Yeah, and it's shifting right away. It's not anything crazy. The 4.7 liter is the kid in the yearbook that you go, I went to school with him? Interesting. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed automatic transmission. It's actually shifting fine. It seems to be doing okay. Dodge isn't known for their quality transmissions, especially in the previous generation. So anytime I bring up any Chrysler transmission that isn't an outsourced transmission like the ZFs found in the Hellcats, I get a little weary. I get a little nervous because they're not usually amazing. But this one is holding its own, and I don't have any complaints out of my time driving it. Last but not least, this particular Ram is 2-wheel drive. However, of course, you could find them in 4-wheel drive. So how does it feel to actually drive the Ram 1500? Well, it's stiff. I'll give it that. It is a pickup truck, and maybe it's because I haven't driven a pickup truck in a couple of weeks, but every bump is felt by my spine and vertebrae alike. However, that's kind of what you want out of a vehicle like this. This truck was used for hauling, for towing, and so it's not really meant to coddle you and baby you. However, it actually does have independent suspension up front as opposed to the previous generation of Ram, so it has that going for it. The power is fine. The 4.7 liter, like I said, is very unremarkable. And so driving it, I don't feel like I'm at a lack of power, but I'm also not having the most fun experience of my whole life. It's fine. Steering is nice and direct and not too heavy, which is good to see out of a heavy-duty vehicle. And visibility actually is really good. For a 2000s car, it's not always the case, so visibility is a positive. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of white-faced gauges. Off to the left, I have my battery voltage and fuel. Then I have my tachometer and speedometer in the center, as well as a little digital odometer and what gear I'm in. And then off to the right, I have my oil pressure and coolant temperature. On the steering wheel, I do have cruise control options to the left and right, as well as I do have these big spokes. This looks very, very Mopar of the 2000s. Reminds me of the Neon and the Sebring and just all of those lovely, bubbly vehicles, especially the Caliber. The Caliber definitely comes to mind too, but overall, I don't have any hesitations about the steering wheel. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent, my headlight switches, as well as my cargo dome light. And moving on to the door, we have our power mirrors up top, door locks, and power windows. Up above the rear view mirror in the center, I do get a little information gauge showing me my compass and temperature. Now, I don't know if this is the case with this particular Ram, but my old Ram, the temperature sensor was somewhere where it used to get hot, so I'd get in the vehicle and it would say it was 120 degrees when it was really like 85 out, but as soon as I started driving, it would calm down. Moving into the center, we do have a little radio. This is the factory radio for the Ram 1500 from '05, and I just love it because it's very reminiscent of the second gen. However, it is a little bit updated, a little bit more rounded. However, it does retain that CD player, which I loved as a kid. However, down below, we do have our climate controls. Very, very simple and basic here. We have fan speed off to the left, temperature in the center, and where to send it off to the right, as well as our AC and rear defrost all the way off to the right. Then we do get a little cubby, and moving down in the center, we do have pop-out cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Dodge Ram 1500 from 2005, and not only does it pass the big friggin' bottle test, but the owner has left me with his larger bottle, and it also passes the huge friggin' bottle test. However, something I do want to note about these cup holders as they do pop down, there's these little joints up at the front. This, at least on my own vehicle, broke very, very easily, and so I would not overload these cup holders if you can help it. We ended up putting a wood block under ours just to support it, so just a word to the wise. Off to the left, we do have what would be an ashtray. However, it's taken one too many heaters and has left the chat. And then off to the right, I do have this interesting hook, and I recently learned that this is for garbage bags. So if you want to hang like a little shopping bag for trash and garbage, you can do that here, and that's a really nice little touch that Dodge did not have to include, but I'm happy that they did. I don't get any major center console, so moving up to the seats, we do get a bench seat, which is really, really nice. The fabric is nice and cushy, definitely very basic, no leather in the SLT. However, I really, really enjoy it. Gives me that very reminiscent feel, and I love that a lot. However, it does have a little party trick. The center seat can be opened to reveal some storage. Pop it up from the bottom if you don't have anyone sitting there, and you can use that as storage, or you can flip down the center console and use that for storage as well. So many, many pockets, cubbies, and alcoves here in the Ram 1500. Now, we don't have any back seats. However, let's hop around the back of the vehicle and talk about the bed and the cargo space. All right, around the back of the Dodge Ram 1500 SLT, as notified over there. Pull this down, and we do get a nice plastic bed liner, which I really enjoy. I don't know if these are supposed to be cup holders, but as a kid, that's what I exclusively use them for. But once we are back here, we do have some open tie downs in either side. That's pretty much it. There's hooks up there as well, and this is the short bed of the Ram, so you could get a longer bed fitted to it. You could also get a quad cab that was a 4-door that would have this size of bed as well, but would make the overall truck longer. So this was the shortest configuration that you could find the Ram 1500 in, which I actually tend to prefer. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and first of all, I love the red color, and this is the pre-facelift 3rd generation Ram, so it has the sort of teardrop or droopy eye headlights where they have these like 2 little hoops at the bottom. However, let's do a walk around. I love the look of this Ram, mostly because of my nostalgia. This, again, like I've said in many videos, is a pure representation of macaroni styling. I grew up on macaroni and cheese, and so I have a nostalgia for that. It's a comfort food for me when I'm missing home. And so whenever I look at this Ram, I get that sort of warm sense of nostalgia because I grew up around them. I grew up driving them. And so anytime I see them, I just get that little spark of joy purely based off the looks. It's also not an outwardly very pretty automobile, which also plays into the macaroni styling where it's sort of rounded and mushy. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I am beholden of this Ram 1500. But now let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving for the first time here on the channel a third generation Dodge Ram. Well, I have to say that I really enjoy it. As a truck, it's a good truck. I've always liked these trucks. I think they're really capable. I think they're relatively comfortable for what they are. Like I said, that ride is harsh, but it's not really a deal breaker. The seats are comfy. Everything in here works pretty well. As one being, it's fine. But I just love the nostalgia of it. I was so excited to be back into an older Dodge Ram, something I grew up with. And so I first want to kick this off, the final thoughts segment, which is my free-form segment of the review. I want to kick it off by giving a little bit of history of this vehicle. So it was unveiled at the 2001 Chicago Auto Show right here home in Illinois for late 2002 sales. The second gen Ram really technically ran up till 2002, but it's kind of a split year. And although I keep saying that, oh, it really reminds me of my second gen, this actually shares almost no parts with it. When they switched to this generation, it got a completely new frame, suspension, drivetrain options, interior, and body panels. Like I mentioned with the driving experience, it swapped to independent front suspension. It also switched to rack and pinion steering as opposed to the dreadful steering box of the earlier generations. And when it went on sale, it actually was the best-selling Ram up to that point. So when they unveiled the third gen, people loved it so much that it outsold the previous generation. Now, that record has since been broken by the fourth and fifth gens, but at the time, Dodge was punching up. They were really doing something great, and the sales numbers reflected that. The only real Achilles heel of this particular truck, and really all Dodge products from this era, I'm talking second gen, third gen, Dodge Caravans, the whole nine, is going to be the rust. These vehicles have cancerous rust. And I know what you might be thinking, oh, Zach, my car has a little bit of rust on it too. Not like this. I genuinely believe this rust is of alien origin, that it crash landed here back in the 1990s and unfortunately is here to stay. You can do whatever you want to eradicate the rust. It'll come back. Chop it out, put new metal in there. Sure, that'll hold it off for 12 months, maybe 13 months, give you a baker's dozen of months. It's going to come back. Your fenders are going to become translucent. It's just something that's going to happen. And that's a shame. That's why I had to get rid of my Ram. I couldn't keep up with it. I couldn't replace the front fenders for a third time. Couldn't bring myself to do it. And so if you're looking to buy one of these, just be weary of that. Be careful. Do your homework and really get down and dirty and under the vehicle. But when you're not concerned about rust, these are fantastic trucks. And I'll continue to love them and adore them until the end of my days. This truck has my heart, my soul, my body, and my mind, and that's not changing anytime soon. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Nate for letting me take out his Ram 1500. Like I mentioned, I was so excited to be back in the seat of a Dodge Ram. It smells like my old truck in here. It feels like my old truck, and that is something that you can't quite put a price tag on, and Nate certainly helped me out here today with allowing me to take out his Ram 1500. I can't thank him enough. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.